So I'm gonna get a bit vulnerable for a second, and admit that the reason that I didn't post yesterday was because I was in a shutdown. I'm laughing about it now, but it was not good. So basically, I was in a club, and the club is usually more or less exclusive. Like we will let anyone in, but most people don't really have the interest in joining us. But this time a bunch of randos came in, and they were just not following the rules, not being nice, not they were just loud, being loud, so chaotic. I had to just cover my ears and just immerse myself in my own world for a second there. Well, not a second, the rest of the day. I had a verbal shutdown. It wasn't pretty. And I doubted anyone wanted to see me like that, and I sure as hell didn't want to show myself like that. So I decided to just not post at all yesterday, which I think was probably the best decision I could have made. Um, but today, I actually have very good news. Remember how I've been ranting and raving about how we're not allowed to use phones or headphones because the headphones would be an extension of the cell phone violation? So, as it turns out, I'm actually quote unquote allowed to use my headphones more or less. The school psychiatrist was basically like, it's not like official, but like if anyone gives you grief about it, come tell me about it. So basically, she can't put it in my 504 plan that I'm allowed to, but I am allowed to. So the whole thing was just a misunderstanding. I thought that it not going in my 504 plan meant that I couldn't use them at all, even in the halls, even though plenty of kids also used them in the halls. So I was literally sitting there struggling not to jump for joy because I found out that I don't have to be through such stress every single day that I shut down and cry. So yeah, that was a breath of fresh air right there. So yeah, that goes along pretty nicely, I think, with today's subject. Ranking noise reduction techniques. So I've got a one of my many little lists that I make here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to go from the worst and go to the best. All right, so I have six things on the list, and number six is powering through. So anyone with sensory issues will know that powering through is not always an option. Sometimes it's necessary, but sometimes it's impossible. And this is definitely the case for me. Like I've been doing it for years, but it was just not sustainable. Walking through a mall or through school, it's just not sustainable. Like since the new semester has started, all three of the times I wound up crying in the guidance counselor's offices was because it was just too loud. But yeah, it's just not a good option at all for me and a lot of other people. Number five and number four are actually tied, but I'm gonna take the one that I think is just ever so slightly worse, and that is loops.
Hold on, don't get mad at me. I have a good reason for ranking them this low.
And that reason is they just don't do for me. This is no shade to my parents, but when they got me some loops, I think they were probably the cheapest ones. And that's not me saying, like, oh, my parents should have got me the most expensive ones. Like, I'm not that spoiled. I'm pretty spoiled, but I'm not that spoiled. But I am saying that the cheapest options probably weren't the best because, in the end, they didn't do anything. It just felt like I have stuff in my ears. It's not even blocking out anything. It does slightly muddle it, but that is not the same as blocking it out. So these are my loops. I put a sticker of a shrimp on the back so I know which side to open it on. Um, Here they are. They're just, I don't know, regular loops. They don't even fit in the case right. I have no clue how I'm supposed to put these in the case the right way so they're not like pushing the case open. Like, how the good enough. Which brings me to the one that only slightly ranks higher than the loops is earplugs. Now, I hate the earplugs. They hurt. They make it feel like I'm underwater, like I said. And I'm always afraid I'm going to push them too deep in my ear and I won't be able to get them back out again. They're very noticeably a noise reduction tool. Like even with like ear defenders, like those headphones that don't even play music, some of them you can just say like, "Oh, it's music playing. I listen to music with this." But earplugs, they're obviously foam. Like there's no mechanical things going on in there. And I wish I wasn't embarrassed that I need noise reduction tools, but I am. So yeah, those are just not the best option for me at all. Number three is the ear defenders that I briefly mentioned like 15 seconds ago. I have two pairs around here somewhere. So I've got this pair, which I like a lot better than this pair, because as you can see, this one is a lot more overt. But I wear it to places that like it's a lot more I guess it's never fully socially acceptable, but it's a lot more socially acceptable to wear these. Like, if my dad's taking me to the racetrack, then I'll bring these. Even to like hockey games, then I'll wear these. These I'll bring to like amusement parks and stuff because like they're a lot smaller. They're just like here, I'll show you what I look like with them on. Like they're still pretty obviously ear defenders. And there's another thing about these. They make things sound just so muffled. Like of course it blocks out sound, that's what it's supposed to do, but in the process it makes things so muffled. Like my voice sounds so weird right now. I don't even know if I'm talking too loud or too quiet right now. I might have to adjust the volume when I'm editing this. Next is, I don't actually have a pair of these like accessible to me currently. I think they're somewhere else. I don't even know if they're in the house, but it is earbuds. And these don't cancel much sound, and they also do kind of make things muffled and make it sound like I'm underwater. But unlike the loops and the earplugs, they actually play music. So yeah, not the best option for school when you're supposed to be like listening and it doesn't even block out much noise. But I mean, it's something, I guess. All right, and now it's time for my favorite. This is the best option that there could possibly be for me, and that is these. These are Soundcore Q20i headphones. They're usually $70, but they were on sale for $40, so me and my mom just snatched those up. I say me and my mom, but she paid for the whole cost of these, which thank you. If you're watching this, thank you. But yeah, I was just telling her that my old headphones were like squeaking and like they were playing this weird crackling noise whenever I would use them. And I told her about these, and I told her how they went on sale, and I technically had enough money for them, but I just didn't know if I wanted to spend my entire allowance on it. And she was just like, "Oh, well, you need those, so I'll just get them for you." I even decorated them with some stickers that I made. My favorite is the jellyfish, but I also really like the starfish, even though it started peeling, which it isn't really noticeable, like at all. But this little, wait, no, it was this little, I don't know, fin started peeling up, so I had to cut some double-sided tape into a very small piece and just put it under there. The only two things that I kind of don't like about these is they both aren't very big deals. One of them is it takes kind of a long time to turn them on. It takes like 4 to 5 seconds of just pressing and holding the button. But it's not that big of a deal. I'll just like put them on and then I'll just have to hold the button and wait until I hear the little chime, and which was now. And like a second later, the noise cancellation turns on automatically. But the other thing that I don't really like about them that much is also a good thing about them. They turn off after a certain period of time to conserve power, which is great in some ways because I like sleeping in these. My old headphones had like buttons on the side, so I couldn't really do that without pressing a whole bunch of random buttons. And also, when I tried to turn the power or the volume up, it would call people. So, so yeah, as you can see, the buttons are like right here, as with the charging port, and it's also got the letters of right and left in the ear cups, whatever they're called. But anyway, the bad thing about that is if it's not connected to my phone, then it turns off after like I think 10 or so minutes. Which isn't a big deal if I'm going through the halls. But if I'm in class and the teacher isn't teaching and it's like I think it's called instructional time and people are just like being really obnoxious and loud, then I'll just put these on, turn them on, but then like 10 minutes later they'll just kind of turn off, which again, I like because it saves energy. I've been using these nonstop for 3 days and they are at 60%, not like nonstop, but like a lot more than I use my other headphones. So it's just kind of annoying that I have to keep turning them back on, but overall, I'd say that second feature is a good thing. So yeah, that's all I got for you. I can put my list away now. Again, I'm kind of sorry I didn't post yesterday, but I'm also really not because there was really no way I could have recorded a video that would be enjoyable to watch. So yeah, I'm gonna get right on editing this, and thank you so much for watching all the way to the end, and I think I'm giving up on trying to make an outro because I think what I just said suffices well enough as an outro. So yeah, bye. Oh, I touched the ceiling.